Some of the standard communications practices, you have heard the word standard operating procedures. I say standard SCPs, which are announcement in the employee newsletter, social media post. Once you get the certification, this is the most common thing that all organizations do. Social media post, press release, and mention of ES, equal salary, on their career page. I just want you to stop for a second and think, is it enough? Given the slides that we saw at the beginning of this webinar, is this enough just to do this? And, or are we missing an opportunity here of using the equal salary certification to maximize, to actually highlight or to bring forward the steps that an organization goes through? Because talking to Naomi, I understand that this is not just a certificate that somebody walks into the equal salary office and they get it done. It takes a lot of effort by the legal and the HR departments of all the companies to go through this and the audits and everything. So it is a lot of effort goes into it. And at the end, once they get the salary certification, this is all that happens. So what is missing? I have put this sentence here that equal salary directly contributes to enhancing companies' reputation, employee retention, and attracting talent. We all know this. There is one more thing that it contributes to, and I will also elaborate in the slides in the next slide that how it directly contributes to enhancing companies' reputation. Next slide, please, Naomi. And anyone has any question up to this point? Okay, I can continue. Now, 3 key areas is reputation. As I said, reputation, reputation, reputation. And reputation management or reputation is not just through the 3 things we mentioned, that a press release, a social media post announcing that we are certified, and a careers page. This is not enough. These 3 things are not enough. This is something that you are missing a huge opportunity of using and bringing in communication team from the beginning, once the process is started, to look at how can you actually impact reputation. It's a long-term thing. You are, as I said in the previous slides, you are, by getting an equal salary certification, it is enhancing your reputation on 3 counts. One is that you are putting your company out in the open to be certified through a rigorous, transparent process. So it means that the company is really doing the right things. So in terms of reputation, this is that you go through the audit, you go through, they also review that, what you have done, whether it was lacking, and now how you are engaging or employing the staff at the equal salary level, and what is the number. So reputation is very key. Is it coming out in the press releases? I read a couple of press releases of some of the companies, and I don't want to name them, when they got certified. It can be done much better. You can nuance that, how much of this impacts your bottom line, how you are, by being a equal salary, you are actually impacting gender equality. You are reducing inequalities in the world. You are, I can't read SDG 8 and SDG 11. How you are impacting these as well. Mention that, because each company employs thousands of employees. And when you go through that certification, you are also showcasing that you are contributing to attaining SDGs. Now, employee retention and attracting talent. In most of an SDG contribution, let's go to the next slide, maybe with the examples, it will come out better. So for example, the most you see on the websites, you see that on the careers you click on the career, and then you actually get to see equal pay. Either it is in the tab, or it is mentioned in the text further down the road. So only those people who are interested in a job, or they are applying for a job, get to know that you are equal salary, equal pay certified, which is, you are missing out on a huge opportunity of those who are just going to your website and not knowing that you are actually equal salary certified. And remember, every time I say equal salary certified, I am talking about, at the back of your head, you should know that equal salary certified is certified. It contributes to four SDGs. It reduces inequality. It is gender balance. It contributes to 8 and 11. What is the 8 and the 11? I'm forgetting the title of the 8 and 11. So those four are so crucial that organizations don't even mention in their press releases. Then, I mean, another example is like, on the sustainability page, equal salary is not seen as part of contributing towards sustainable development, because most of the companies are not seeing their contribution towards SDGs. So one point to remember, or a takeaway from the seminar, is to include that, SDGs are crucial. When you are equal salary certified, you are contributing to 4 SDGs. I can suggest some of the things, like, first of all, identify your target audience. By putting this label of equal salary certification, what are you doing? Are you just, your point is just to attract talent? So is it just a tick on the box? Like, we are equal salary certified, it's the HR, business, and, legal. Now no one can say anything. And it sits nicely within some tab after tab after tab after tab into the subtext of the website, which nobody knows, except if there is a person who is applying for a job. That person only gets to know, okay, equal salary certified. And trust me, in their mind, they are not even thinking about equal salary. So likely chances that they won't even click on the equal salary a highlighted link, because they have already made up their decision to come to you. However, if it is mentioned at the landing page, the main website, what you would do, anyone who is going there would know that you are equal salary certified. So you are getting visibility and reputation, visibility to everyone, not just the person or who's looking to get an employment in your organization. So please, I cannot emphasize enough that bring it somewhere more visible. And we have put this example that, where you can put it, like next to the career. Even if you don't want to use the equal salary logo, put under in brackets equal salary certified. This way you are announcing, you are showing responsibly that, you take this very seriously. It is not just a tick on the box. Then in the previous slide, I also mentioned that, employee retention. And for that, it is, if some of you are already doing it, great. But if those of you who have not yet done it, maybe it is important to actually organize some seminar with your employees and explain to them, what does it mean? What does this mean that your organization is equal salary certified? It is so important, because each and every employee is actually your ambassador to the outside world. When they talk, or they actually within their families, within their friends, this is something that builds pride, that actually helps them to understand that, I work for an organization which is equal salary certified, and which is contributing to SDGs, and which is very interested in bringing in gender parity. And also for those organizations who are overtly seen as working in the male dominated spaces, whether it is engineering firms or car industry, they show a lot of pictures of women, but they don't mention the equal salary, that they are equal salary certified in a prominent space. And same goes for some of the development sector organizations. They are also at the moment just mentioning it on their careers page. So I cannot repeat it enough that putting it just on the careers page, you are missing out on a huge opportunity of, just for free, building a positive reputation. The third point I want to also raise that, what do we do? Usually organizations, once they are equal salary certified, the standard communication practices, press release, social media post, and, mention on this. But then what happens? Everybody forgets about it. Why not create, so work with your communications team, and that requires that you involve them from the beginning, not once the process is done, not once you have been equal salary certified and then you bring in and go to your communications team for the standard communication practices. Involve them from the beginning so that they can craft these messages every time there is a sustainability report, every time there is a project you sign which impacts gender equality, which is helping in the communities as part of your CSR. You can include and bring it in the narrative. Maybe put 6 social media posts over a period of 6 months, 1 post every month, so that your consumers, your customer base, your target audience is aware, has not forgotten about it, and only those get to know who go to your careers page. So think and involve, and there are so many different ways, and I call this expanding the shelf life of equal salary certification. There is no expiry date, there is no sell by date. It is not something that you are done and dusted and forget about it. There is a huge potential that can continue to benefit you over a longer period of time, and especially during the life of the SDGs until 2030. Then how do you create consumer visibility? And this is something I would share with you from my Nestle experience, that I was one of the first to work with Nestle during my days with Nestle. I was very keen that and I hope I won't be penalized for taking Nestle's name, but I mean, that was my personal contribution. That how do you bring the sustainability news to your consumers? Every big organization has a sustainability report that they launch, but your consumers are not reading it. They are just listening to the buzzwords and forming an opinion about you. Until and unless your consumer knows that, for example, the coffee I'm drinking, who is the farmer behind it? Who are the supply chain? How is the company putting an investment and benefiting the supply chain? They won't make the connection of sustainability in their minds. Sustainability is just a buzzword for them. So think how this equal salary certification appeals to your consumer base. Gone are the days when men were the wage earners and they were the decision makers. Nowadays, women are the majority, 51% majority in the world these days. And more women are becoming the decision makers, not only at the household levels, but at all levels, more independent. They are the ones who have the purchasing power. Think how you can connect through in your consumer communication, when you are doing marketing for a product, how creatively you can use the equal salary to connect with your women consumers and young consumers. Actually, we live in the age of Greta Thunberg, who doesn't shy away from saying blah blah blah. So don't do the blah blah blah. Think creatively, and this is something the companies will reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, I have one question. Do you have example of already certified companies that have really put forward the communication and leverage it so far, or Not yet.
A very good question, Mathide. It's actually, I would say that I have not been able to see an example which is like really ticking all the three opportunities that I mentioned, that companies are talking about it in a more robust and in a more holistic manner. It is so far dedicated on the careers page, and the different companies do it in different ways. Like some would have much down the page a mention of equal salary, and in some cases it is hyperlinked. In some cases they make it as part of their 7-point agenda for increasing diversity at their workforce, but not how we are discussing it today. And if there is, I just want to share one thought, and maybe it is coming from the perspective that communications teams are not involved in this mechanism from the beginning. And I may be wrong, and they are involved, and every company has its own take on how they want to publicize. But really, in this session, I wanted to highlight, because I had discussions with Naomi, and I've been working in DEI space and in strategic communications. And I thought that, this is a very crucial element, especially nowadays, and in the backdrop of DEI, in the backdrop of gender equality, that companies can get more mileage out of this, and not in a just as an eyewash or just as a tick on the box, but in a more authentic and an honest manner.
Should organization hold a session for all staff too?
Yes, absolutely. Again, I'm sorry to bring in my Nestle example. I led a series of sustainability workshops on creating shared value workshops for Nestle across Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands, and also in Africa. And it was actually surprising to see for the HR. I worked with the HR to develop a whole module, which we started to do to make them see how the company is working with the supply chains and what is shared value. And it was so surprising that some of the brand managers were actually not aware. And you will be surprised when you conduct these kind of workshops in partnership with the HR and make it mandatory for all staff to attend. And it does not have to be like 5 hours. It just needs during the lunch hour, like what we are doing, to take them through that. It's suddenly it lights up many bulbs, and in their field they see how they can use this equal salary certification to either engage with their customers, and customers could be any, like from government to supply chains to media to in the finance sector. And that really creates a sense of ownership in the company. So yes, it is very important to organize this workshop for all employees. And one more thing, do it in batches. Like you can also do it department-wise, like for the marketing team, or you do it so just to give them more opportunity to ask questions. One way to do is this as well.
So maybe if you can give us some tips on how to include the corporate communication from the beginning, if they should be involved in the process, or how do you see that?
I can share some of the personal examples. When I started my career, I was a manager, communications and external relations, and I started to feel, and I used to have these discussions with my bosses, that involve me from the beginning, not once everything is done and you come to me as a post office to post a press release, because you are missing on an opportunity to build messages, effective messaging as per the target audience from the beginning. And then when I came into more responsible positions of director communications or external relations, this is something that I see, and I can share with you that my bosses or my executive team appreciated the fact that I was very keen to work with marketing teams or with HR from the beginning to understand. You may not issue a press release or a tweet or a social media post once the process is still in while the certification is still in process. But what you can do is to understand the various things that go into getting the certification. And that's where the communications team is better equipped. When the time comes, they have more interest, they feel valued, they don't see themselves as just a post office and it is just a thing and we will do it. You will, as HR people or as a legal department, you will see that there will be newer and robust suggestions coming from them. Now, once the certification is done, sit down with your communications team to also work alongside them and to what is the language you want to use. And now that you are aware that it is not just a certification, but it impacts these 3 or 4 areas, you can also help them craft effective messages. You can also share with them that and this is what we are doing in the in our gender equality. This is how many women we have hired so far, or men we have hired so far. And this is how the board situation is, and this is how equal salary is going to attract talent. So it's a process where when you are sharing and talking, you will work better and you will have a better rapport with your communications team. Other thing you can do, once you get the salary certification, get your HR director, and this is a tip for the communications team if they are here, or you can pass on to the your communications colleagues, that once the certification is done, make sure you mention throughout your blog posts and link it with SDGs. There should be a blog on either on your company website or on on the when if your CEO or someone is writing an article, so they can. It's always important to time your communications activities over a period of time. Not the same day you have a press release, you issue 5 posts and then nothing happens for a year. So divide. Maybe on the day of the press release, just a tweet announcing the press release, and then from this craft few messages from the press release, from the equal salary certification process, that how it is contributing to each SDG, and then post it over a period of time. Then time later with a blog post. So you are really extending the shelf life, and by repeating, you are making people remember, remind that you are an equal opportunity employer, and you are very serious when it comes to equal salary for your employees. And another thing you can think of that sometimes if your CEOs, or if there is an opportunity to write an article in the media, in some of these leading newspapers, and if it is about sustainability, if it is about gender, if it is about production, any topic, you can mention that as part of the sustainability, this is what we have done as well. Find a way to mention that in the article, because people have short memories. They remember equal salary more, or companies who are taking concrete steps rather than just blah blah blah.
Does anyone want to add something? If not, then we wish you a nice end of day, and we hope that this was useful information for your communication in the future. And don't hesitate to reach out to Unjela or to myself if you need further information. I will also send a follow-up mail with the presentation where you have the contact of Unjela if you have more questions for her.
Absolutely, and I'll be happy to answer or to support you as you know, in terms of your individual companies and how you can exclusively develop a communications strategy. And those of you who are planning to get equal salary certification, I am also happy to work with you and look at that, you know, from the beginning, how can you develop a communications strategy? Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.